What's up, this Starwolf? Now look, before I get into my story, before I get into this discussion, I wanna read something to you guys. And okay, it states that a Phoenix man was convicted of child sex trafficking for forcing a 16-year-old girl into prostitution, and he was sentenced to 108 years in prison. Now, Robert Hood, 30, also was convicted of conspiracy, money laundering, and sexual exploitation of a minor, according to the Arizona Attorney General office, which announced this sentence on Thursday. Now, police said Hood, which is his last name, who already had convictions on assault and drug charges, met the girl on the street in late 2017 and made her serve as a prostitute for 6 months, pocketing the money she made. Hood also used his cell phone to record the victim in a sexually exploitative manner in an effort to maintain control over her, the Arizona Attorney General's office explained in a news release. Now, the detectives with the Phoenix Police Department's Human Exploitation and Trafficking Unit, which is an acronym for HEAT, rescued the teen from a hotel in 2018. You know, I've got 2 teenage girls, and this story disgusts me. This is what the Attorney General Mark Barnovich posted on Facebook after Hood's conviction on 11 felony counts in September. Child sex trafficking is a nationwide problem, and this office is committed to holding offenders in Arizona accountable for this horrific crime. He said in a formal statement, at that time, this type of crime against our most vulnerable can never be tolerated. Okay, now, everybody know how I am with child sex trafficking. With sex trafficking, period. Everybody know that I go hard for that. Now, here's what I want to discuss with everybody. I want to discuss the 108 years in prison, because I've been looking at Facebook and I've been looking at other stories and I've been looking at comments where people are divided, because you have half of the people saying that 108 years in prison is a sufficient amount of time. This time that he received was they acted in accordance with the law. And then you have half of the people stating that 108 years in prison is excessive and racist. So my question is 108 years in prison excessive for child sex trafficking? Now, before I get off into it, I want to explain something. Allegedly, this 16-year-old Caucasian girl stated that she wasn't forced to do anything and that she lied about everything, and she lied to Hood about her age. She told him that she was 19 years old, and allegedly this is documented. Now, if this is indeed a fact, then Robert Hood, I can't really say he shouldn't have nothing to worry about, because any black male that's in America has something to worry about, because the judicial system, the justice system is against us. Though he does have a chance at fighting and coming back to court on an appeal if she truly indeed did lie about her age and lied about everything and said she wasn't forced. But here's the thing. The people that's saying 108 years in prison is excessive, they're stating that it was racist. They did it because he was a black man. They wouldn't have did this to white males. And they do have a point there, because if you look at the Epstein case, if you look at other child sex trafficking cases, there's been numerous times where they've done stings and the culprits were given 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Now, looking at it from a standpoint of, can you force somebody to do something, or should you force somebody to do nothing? Hell no. You can't force nobody to do nothing against their own will. It doesn't matter what it is. If you do, then it's always going to be some type of friction and problems. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Was he in the right for even dealing with this minor and having her prostitute her body allegedly? He was in the wrong. He was in the wrong, you know. But should he have received 108 years? I want y'all to tell me. I want y'all to comment. I want y'all to get in the comment section and let me know, should he receive 108 years? Now, on the other side, the people that believe he should have received 108 years and feel that he was in the wrong, a lot of those people have a right to express their opinions. And the reason I say this is because a lot of those people have been raped. A lot of those people have family members that's been sexually assaulted, sexually abused. A lot of them were sexually abused as minors from family members, from people they knew. Some of them may have been prostitutes. So you can't really get upset at their standpoint and position in this, because they're looking at it from a different angle than the people that's looking at it from the other angle. So you could say that both parties is right, and you could say that both parties is wrong, but it still remains he has 108 years. And is this excessive? Because you have rapists, child molesters that live amongst you within your neighborhood that you probably don't even know about, and they've received 2, 3, 4 years in prison. Some even receive probation. So is it just? Is it justifiable? Was his sentence justifiable in the court of law? We all know that Arizona is a racist state. We know this. Everybody in the United States of America know that Arizona is a racist state. Everybody in America know that Phoenix, Arizona is highly racist. They do not play when it comes to black men and young black boys. So was this a case of racism? I mean, you could say that, but I'm looking at it from a standpoint of Robert Hood received 108 years in prison. And now this is my opinion. He received 108 years in prison for the simple fact of the matter that he got caught up during a time, he got convicted and sentenced during a time where sex trafficking is high. It's in everybody's eyes in America. Every other day in the news, on social media, you have somebody that has been abducted and got away, or somebody attempted to abduct them or something like that, you know, every other day in the news. So his timing was off. Maybe if this would have happened 3 or 4 years ago, even though sex trafficking been going on for decades, human trafficking been going on for decades, maybe if it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it wasn't so prevalent like it is in the news, then he may have received a sentence that wasn't so harsh. But in my opinion, they had to make an example out of him. And believe me, he won't be the first, because they know that there's a lot of young black men across America that love to pimp. This is their profession. So in their eyes, they like, we can make a stand against sex trafficking. It really doesn't have to be against these high organizations, these billion-dollar organizations, these organizations that's making multiple upon multiple millions and billions of dollars every year off of exploiting children and adults that they sex traffic. We could just get the lower level. We can get these young black men that call themselves pimps, and we'll get them. And we'll merge sex trafficking in with pimping. And we'll give them 50 plus, 100 plus years. And in everybody's eyes, it'll look like we're doing our job against sex trafficking, when in reality, that's not the case. If you look at the Epstein case, Jeffrey Epstein, the guy that they say committed suicide, which we all know he didn't commit suicide, he was murdered. You know it's not the case. He was going to blow the whistle and expose all the high-level officials that was involved. Judges, attorneys, prosecutors, policemen, congressmen, even some presidents. Yes. So this is big business. It just depends on what level you are. And Robert Hood was on a low level. And I'm not going to even say he was on a low level of sex trafficking. He was on a low level of pimping and pandering, allegedly. And he's a casualty of war. They have a war going on against sex trafficking right now. And his timing was off. He received that 108 years. And like I said, believe me, they're going to start knocking down a lot of these young black males that's pimping and pandering. If this is your profession, now listen to what I'm saying. I'm not condoning. I don't condone sex trafficking in no type of way. And I don't condone, I'm not telling you to go out and do anything illegal. I'm saying if pimping and pandering is your profession, I would suggest that you leave all the white women alone. I would suggest that you do it exactly the same way that they do it on the internet. What I mean by that is do it legally. Open up a brothel in Las Vegas. Because any other type of way, you're going to receive what Robert Hood received. And the question still remains, was his sentence excessive? Like I said, half say yes, half say no. I want everybody to comment. I want you to comment, leave your comment, and let me know how you feel about this situation. Because people are torn. People are torn. Their hearts are hurting and they mourning over this situation. But like I said, there's people that have been actually sexually assaulted and sexually abused as a minor. There's women that's been raped. There's men that's been raped. And all of this took place while they were children. So you cannot tell them to not feel a certain way. You cannot say that 108 years is excessive, because in their eyes, they have been manipulated. They have been tricked and deceived when they were children. They have been violated. So and mentally destroyed. So it's like, hell yeah. It's a sufficient amount of time for him, because they are still hurting. They were violated. So that's how they feel. That's how they feel. Now, the other people on the other side that's saying that it's excessive. Okay. You can't change the way they feel either, because that's their opinion. My question, not my question, but my answer or my solution to those people would be, if you feel that way, then go protest and go do what needs to be done. Go help him and see if you can get the sentence down. I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to just speak from reality. And I know a lot of people don't like that most of the time, but I'm going to speak from reality. I really don't believe that Robert Hood, his sentence, I really don't believe that it'll be cut down. Like I said, he was convicted and sentenced at a time where sex trafficking is high. This is like when they had a war on drugs. It was a fake war, but they had a war on drugs back in the 80s. And you see what they did? They incarcerated all of the black males, a lot of them, because they knew that the black men and the young black boys was selling crack cocaine. So they made laws. They had two separate laws, one for cocaine and one for crack, which is actually the same thing, but they knew that the black males was selling the crack, was selling the rocks. So they made laws that'll put them in prison for the rest of their lives. See, this is the same thing they doing now with the sex trafficking, but they convicting the people that's on the lower level. They not getting the sex traffickers that's making billions and millions of dollars a year because these judges and attorneys are involved in it. See, you have to know the politics behind this. You have to know that the justice system isn't for us. So really, you need to leave. If you're a young black male or older black male and you listening to this video, then you need to leave that type of shit alone. Don't involve yourself at motherfucking all with something that's going to lead to the destruction of you. They want to put you in prison. They want to kill you. So why would you give them a chance? This is death for Robert Hood. Not physical death, but it's a slow death because 108 years, no one can do 108 years. And they know this. He was an example. He was sacrificed, a sacrificial lamb, straight up. And that's just what it is, and that's the reality of it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments below. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments below, because I want to talk about this and I want to speak. I want to see how y'all feel about this as well. All right, peace. I'm Starwolf.